Hello everybody, if you're interested in learning how to make a witch for your Halloween decorations, then follow along for this little tutorial. But if you want to make it a Wizard of Oz theme, you can follow my other tutorials on how to make the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man. Let's get started. This is going to be the structure for our witch. You can see we have a hay bale. That's going to act as our frog if you were into flower arranging. That's where you would stick your stems in to help them hold upright. This is going to allow us to be able to move this around wherever we want it, and it is very stable. My plan is that these are going to go up against the garage, so this should work out perfectly for us. We have 2 tomato stakes. They go all the way through down to the bottom of the hay bale. The boots I picked up at the Salvation Army, and we drilled holes in the bottom the same size as the tomato stakes, and you can just see that the posts were driven down and the boots were placed right over the top of that. Then I just grabbed some scrap wood. We had this old door laying around, and we used that as the body of our witch. I went to Lowe's and I found this really heavy duty wire. It's on a spool that you have them cut for you. It was about $2.40, I'm gonna say, per foot. So I got a 5-foot section, and it's really nice because it's going to be posable. I'm going to be able to bend this and manipulate these arms however I wanted them. To attach the wire to this wooden door, we drilled a whole bunch of series of holes, and then I took some wire and just wrapped that around very tightly to help secure that so that it cannot move. And that's the basic structure of our witch so far. What we're going to do now is add some body stuffing. Now this is just an old pillow that I had, and we're just going to wrap it up with some tape and attach it on here so that our witch has somewhat of a human shape. Don't you hate these tape rolls? When it comes to dressing our witch, having these arms be flexible is going to make life much, much easier. We're going to put our skirt on first. I found this long knit kind of turtleneck dress in black that I thought would be perfect to use as her body. I'm going to come in here and stuff the arms with some plastic bags. To help kind of fill them out so that they look a little bit more realistic. Now, if you didn't want to have posable arms, I suppose you might be able to use a pool noodle. But again, the posable arms come in really helpful when you're trying to put the clothing on. It's just nice to have something that moves a little bit more like the human figure does. The boots are looking like they're starting to fall a little bit, so I'm just going to shove some cardboard down inside them. I could also just put a screw through the boot into one of the tomato stakes. Or you can use up some rolled up magazines. I'm thinking I want her to have some sort of a cape, and I'd like something that would possibly move in the wind. So I took a garbage bag and I cut it. And I'm thinking that we might be able to attach it like this, and the head's going to be here, so it'll kind of be like a scarf, but I'm hoping that the wind will catch this in the back and it will move a little bit. The hands that we're going to use came from the dollar store. They had stakes on them. I broke those off and then I cut the bottom off with a razor blade knife. I did spray paint them. You can see what they look like there, and there's the hole. And these are going to fit right over the wire. Now make sure you get a left and right hand, and remember your thumb is on the inside. You place them on the right hands there, and you can see they just slide right over the wire that we got. For our witch's head, we're going to use one of the fake foam pumpkins that you can buy in the store. This has been spray painted green, just like we did the hands. And I think I'm going to place it where I can use the stem as the witch's nose. Now the hat came from Walmart. I would have preferred to make a hat because I prefer to make my own things, but it turned out to be cheaper to buy this hat for $12 than try and source and make it all myself. Now this pumpkin is hollow. We are going to be filling it with some of that spray foam from the can, and that will just help it stay onto the piece of rebar better because it'll be a solid interior. Not sure how I'm going to paint the face yet, but we'll figure that out as we go along. To add some extra stability to our witch, I'm going to take this piece of rebar and I'm going to run it down along the back, and this is also what our pumpkin head is going to attach to. I'm going to drill a little hole here for the rebar to go up into the pumpkin. Then we're simply just going to slide our pumpkin head over the top. Now you may need to finagle it a little bit to get it where you want it to be. And I wanted mine to face down a little bit, so when I did drill the hole, I did drill it at a little bit of an angle so that it would fit like this. Now, it has a tendency to want to flop around, so to prevent that, I'm going to go in behind and I'm going to fill it with some spray foam, and that should form around the piece of rebar and keep it in that position. Okay, you can see that we've got our pumpkin all filled with foam. That's going to help hold it in place when we put it on top of the rebar. I'm sure I'm going to have to do some pruning on these branches, but I want to see what the hat looks like, and I did put some plastic inside the hat to help it hold upright. It's actually the cone of shame from Jada's surgery that she had. But let's just put this on and get an idea of what it looks like and possibly what branches I'm going to need to cut off. To keep the hat in place, I'm just using T-pins. Oh, maybe I don't have to take any branches off, except maybe this one, which is the one I really, really like. And I just need to come up with something for the face, and I have an idea, which means a trip to the dollar store, or I need to make something. Last night I mentioned that I needed to do something with the face, and I was probably going to either go to the dollar store and buy something or make something. So I decided to do a little bit of both. I did go to the dollar store and picked up these black roses, which I have zip tied around the wrist, and then we've placed some around the collar. I think it adds a nice little extra dimension to this because the witch was looking a little bit flat. I also went down and found this old belt of mine from when I was skinny, and not anymore, but I think it adds some nice extra little shine to our witch because she was looking a little too black. But now I want to do the face. Now, I didn't want to paint something on there because I didn't want it to be cartoonish. And then I decided I would scroll through Pinterest and look at some images of the Wizard of Oz witch and the movie Wicked. And I decided that I really liked the glasses that the one witch wears. So I decided that I would make them, since I'm never going to be able to find something that would be appropriately sized for a pumpkin head. I cut this out of the fun foam and then I spray painted it black. So let's get in here and we're going to stick it on. I'm just using some straight pins right now. If we like where they are, I'll come back in and paint these with black so that they won't show up this bright yellow. Let's get in here and see what it looks like. I think the final thing we're missing is a broom. So let's see if we can make that. For our broom, I found this twisted and gnarled branch that I think is going to work great for our project. And then I went out into the garden and I clipped down some of my miscanthus grass. The idea is we're just going to zip tie the miscanthus directly to this branch. Now, it is green right now. It is going to fade probably within a week or two. It will be dried out and faded. As it fades and it dries, it is going to shrink, which is why the zip tie is going to be very important. I can keep tightening it so that the grass stays tight to the stick. Now, I may end up having to add more grass, I'm not sure, but for right now, we're just gonna start with this much, see how it goes, and if we had to add more later, I can just go out in the garden and grab some more. Now it would probably be better if I had some grass on this side and I did it all the way around, but I think we're just going to do it like this for right now, and if I have to add more grass, I can just do it as need be. Because my zip tie won't go around this and the grass, I'm going to go around each of these Y branches. Again, I think that will help hold it in place. Now it is a little bit heavy for this arm to hold. Once this grass dries out, it'll be a lot better because this is a really dry branch. There's hardly any weight for that. But I gotta be honest, I really like the green grass. I think it adds to that wicked vibe. But it'll be fine if it goes to creamy white also. The finishing touch to our witch project is going to be to add these colorful berries to the hay bale. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, there's a tutorial on the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man. You can watch those. If you're curious to see what I did last year, there's an old video of that you can check out as well. And if you have any thoughts or ideas on what I might want to do for next year's Halloween, please drop your thoughts in the comments. Have a great day, everybody. Get out into your yard and do some decorating. Bye-bye.